Let your body settle now. Your shoulders, they may have been holding something since this morning, some effort you carried through the day without noticing. Let them drop. Just allow them to fall a little lower. Your hands, notice where they are resting, the slight warmth of your palms. You are not holding anything right now. Let the fingers go soft. Your jaw, there is a good chance it is tighter than you know. Let it open slightly, just enough that the back teeth no longer touch. Your feet, feel them where they meet the mattress, where the blanket covers them. Still, heavy. The blanket over you, its weight presses gently down. The warmth beneath it is yours. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to plan, nothing to remember. Whatever did not get done today, it will keep. And as you breathe, something quieter takes the place of what was there. You are in the Scottish Highlands. The year is 1792. The land here is ancient and indifferent, peat and heather, lochs and glens, mountains whose Gaelic names are older than any map. The nearest village is 4 miles away. You have lived in this glen all your life, your father before you and his. Tonight you will simply rest here. The light is going from the glen. The blackhouse sits low against the hillside as though it has pressed itself into the earth over generations. The walls are double-thickness drystone, filled between with packed earth and turf. The roof is timber-framed, thick thatch of bent grass and heather, held at the edges with weighted ropes of twisted heather. No chimney. The smoke finds its own way out through the thatch. The house is one long room. At the far end, separated by a low stone partition, the cattle spend the night, a single cow and 2 young stirks. You can hear them, the slow shift of hooves on earthen floor, breath larger than a person's. Their warmth moves through the wall into the living end. In January, when the wind comes hard from the northwest, that warmth is the difference that matters. The walls are black, not painted, darkened, year after year, by the smoke from the central fire. The black house earns its name from the inside, not the out. Through the low doorway, no door, just a curtain of woven wool, the last color is leaving the sky. The heather on the hill is losing its purple to gray. The loch below catches one thin line of pale light, then that too goes. The fire is in the center of the floor. Not in a grate, not raised on iron. Directly on the stone flags, contained by a low ring of larger stones, peat stacked at an angle so the air can move between them. It does not burn the way wood burns, no crack and leap of flame. Peat burns slowly, a long red glow from the compressed mass of it. What it gives off is heat and smoke and a smell that is nothing like wood smoke, something between damp earth and something older. The smell of 10,000 years of decomposed moss, cut from the hillside in spring. You cut these peats yourself in May. The feel spade, the tear skear, goes in at the angle your father taught you, and the slab comes out clean. You spread them on the heather to dry, stacked them, carted them home. a summer's work for a winter's warmth. The fire does not go out at night. It has not gone entirely out in this house for as long as your mother could remember. You bank it, press the embers into the ash, and in the morning you blow, and it returns. The smoke moves upward, curling in small air currents, finding the thatch. Everything in this house carries it: the wool of your blanket, the oat cakes on the board, your own hands. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to plan, nothing to remember. The pot hangs above the fire on an iron chain. Inside it, the last of the evening porridge, oats and water and salt, the same thing that has been the first and last meal of most days here for longer than writing records. Oats grow where barley fails and where wheat does not dare. The soil in this glen is thin and acid, the growing season short. Oats understand this. On the flat stone beside the fire, an oat cake, a bannock, baked directly on the stone this morning, thin and slightly charred at one edge. Hard now, it will keep for days. A small jug on the shelf, a measure of whiskey inside, Uist, the Gaelic says, water of life. Made somewhere over the ridge, the still hidden where the excisemen have not yet thought to look. You do not take it tonight. The fire is enough. The heat from the peat presses gently against your face. Outside, the wind moves through the heather with each breath you take, and with each breath you let go, and the heather does not mind either way. Beyond the doorway, the glen is changed. In daylight, it is a place of scale. The long, steep sides of the valley, the loch flat and silver at the bottom, the ridge above marked by a cairn that your great-grandfather's generation built. No one now remembers for whom. In the dark, the scale is gone. What remains is sound and smell and the close feeling of the hill on all sides. The burn runs at the bottom of the near slope, a quarter-mile from the house. You cannot see it. You can hear it low, continuous, always the same and always slightly different, the way running water changes key with rain or drought. It has been raining for 3 days. Somewhere on the far slope, an owl. One note, held, then gone. Then from further away, something that might be another, or might be the echo of the wind among the rocks of the ridge. You listen. You cannot tell. The heather out there is past its peak, purple in August, the bees working it constantly. Now it is dried and brown at the tips, the color beginning to leave it. But where it grows along the south-facing bank, it holds a little longer. Below the house, the wall runs across the lower slope. A drystone dike, no mortar, nothing to hold it but the weight and fit of the stones. Your grandfather built this stretch, or so you were told. It simply continues, rising and dipping with the ground, the stones fitted against each other with a patience that has to be learned slowly or not at all. Every stone finds a place by weight and angle. The sheep are on the other side tonight, a black-faced ewe and 3 lambs from this spring, and 2 older ewes. Hardy animals for a hard country, their wool weatherproofed with lanolin, their hooves sure on wet rock. The lambs were born in April, which is still cold here. You brought the smallest into the house for the first night, too weak to stand at first. By morning, it was on its feet. By the end of the week, it was indignant and needed to go back out. The dike holds what it holds. It does not need watching. It has been doing this since before you arrived. The glen has a name. Glenmore, the Great Glen. The Gaelic admits more than one meaning at once. The loch below is Loch na Moyne, the loch of the peat moss. The ridge above is Druim Fada, the long ridge. These names are not decorative. They are descriptions in a language where the land and the words for it grew up together. Your mother spoke it as her first language, her mother before her. The Gaelic here runs back further than anyone can trace, a language that named the rivers and the hill passes and the dangerous bends in the track, that has words for the quality of winter light on snow and for the mist that comes in off the sea. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to plan, nothing to track, nothing to remember. At the top of the ridge, the view on a clear day reaches further than you can name. The mountains in every direction, some with Gaelic names, some with Norse names older even than the Gaelic. The land holds all of it without preferring any. You know every name within 4 miles of this house. They are in you the way the burn is in the glen, without effort, just running where they have always run. The high ground is hidden tonight. Cloud came in from the west this afternoon. Not rain, just gray and low, filling the upper glen and swallowing the ridge. The summit has been invisible since midday. You know its shape without seeing it. The long approach up the corrie, the rocky scramble at the top, the summit cairn. The slope above the tree line, what tree line there is, the trees were cleared from most of these hills generations ago, is heather and grass and exposed rock and bog. There are places where the ground looks solid and is not. You step, and the foot sinks into cold, dark water. You learn this early. In winter, the summit carries snow from October until March. The wind off, it reaches the house, cold, that has crossed open ground and gathered nothing warm on the way. Tonight the cloud sits over the top and the mountain is simply gone. Tomorrow it may clear, or it may not. The mountain has no relationship with what you need it to do. The loch is below, and you cannot see it. But you know it is there, not by sight, but by a kind of presence, the way water changes the feel of the air above it, slightly heavier, slightly cooler, carrying a faint smell of weed and cold depth. Loch na Moyne is long and narrow, fed at its eastern end by a burn coming down from the high corrie, emptying into a river that finds its way eventually to the sea. In summer, you go to the flat stone at the southern shore sometimes, just to watch the light change on the water. The surface moves differently than the burn, slower, with a patience more like the peat than like running water. The reflections distort when the wind comes and reform when it passes. There are brown trout in it, and sometimes salmon running up from the river in autumn. You have sat for an entire evening and caught nothing, and that was not wasted time. The loch is doing what it does tonight. Without you watching it, it is still there, taking the rain, holding its depth, indifferent to the cloud above and the season changing around it. The peat has found its slowest burn. The glow from the hearth is deep red now. Almost no flame, just heat moving up from the peats, steady, unhurried. The room is warm. The cattle at the far end breathe in slow rhythm, their weight settled, the sound of them like something very large simply existing. Outside, the wind moves through the heather. Not the hard wind of the ridge, just the soft movement of night air down the slope, carrying the smell of wet peat and the cold of the hill. The burn runs below. The loch lies still further. There is nothing you need to solve right now. The dike holds. The sheep are on the lower ground. The fire is banked and will be here in the morning. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to plan. Nothing to remember. It will all be there tomorrow. Tonight there is only this. What remains is this: the warmth of the wool against your skin, the low red of the peat, the sound of the burn, constant and unhurried, running in the dark the way it has run since long before the house was here. The glen is quiet. The loch holds its depth without any help from you. The heather breathes with the wind, in and out, and you breathe with it, and neither of you needs to do anything more tonight.